Welcome to the Pennsylvania Rock Show. Since 2004, we've been the home of Pennsylvania's unsigned rock. Raw, loud, and unapologetic. From live radio to podcasts and streaming everywhere, this is underground music without a filter. Turn it up. Let it bleed. And now, here's your host, Bill Domiano.
What's up, everyone? You are tuned into the Pennsylvania Rock Show, episode number 807. We just played a brand new introduction to the show recorded by Amy Gold, who happens to be the lead singer of the band Eden on Fire, which was the second track that you just heard. That was their newest single called Villain. And at the top of the show, you also heard a brand new song from the band Thoriaca, and it is called Business as Usual. And we're going to get back to them at the end of the show, so we're going to go from the top to the bottom. And anyway, we are on episode 807. With me tonight is Jay Luke. What's up, Jay?
Hey, Bill, what's up? Thanks for having me.
You're very welcome. I just flubbed it all all together there. You're welcome. So I have this thing in my head ever since you sent me the artwork that we're using from the show. You look a lot like Sebastian Bach in that photo. And
Wow.
I don't know if you think that's good or bad, but
Yeah, I'm a fan. Yeah, I usually hear all kinds of weird stuff, so I'll take Sebastian Bach. That's cool.
oh, he can still sing.
Yeah, he's one of the few that still pulls it off. I mean, like personality-wise, he's a little out there, but
yeah, he had an infamous situation here in Pittsburgh a few years ago with a photographer that I know.
He does it all over the place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate because I would have loved to see him with Skid Row, and I understand why they're not.
Yeah, but I'll tell you what, man, they've been offered so much money, so you got to know that's a pretty deep resentment they have there for them if they're not taking some of those big paydays, you know.
But well, enough with Skid Row. They're
Right.
and Sebastian Bach. We're here to talk about Jay Luke, and
That's right.
you released an album in October, or was it
New single. I'm close to finishing up the album, but yeah, I put a new single out called Ghosts in October.
And I was reading about the song about an hour ago, and it has a little bit of a personal twist for you. Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, being a musician for more years than I kind of care to admit, I started writing songs around the time film, well, maybe somewhere kind of close to it, I guess. A film called The Sixth Sense came out, and I just remember going, "Wow, that was a great film." And I kind of wrote, a song kind of after I watched that because I was, pretty.
I did not see that
taken.
ending coming.
Yeah, right. Well, so that was kind of what I was thinking, and I wrote it, and years go by, it kind of just fell by the wayside, I guess. And my mom had developed kind of like dementia, like symptoms before she passed, and I saw her kind of like seeing all these things that weren't there, and it's hard when you love someone, especially a parent going through stuff like that. And I don't know, it's like my memory is sometimes really horrible after so many years passed, but for some reason that song just came right back to me as if I wrote it yesterday, and I was like, wow, this has a whole different meaning right now, and it means so much more right now. So I'm kind of grateful that over the years I never released it because it had so much more of a true meaning. And while it was inspired by something decades ago, it took on a whole new life. Just seeing my mom struggle, and it just kind of spoke to me more than it did then, I think.
Were there any changes you made to it before you released it?
Yeah, like musically, I definitely changed the guitar chords and stuff like that. I was just basically learning how to write songs when I first wrote it, so I wanted to make it sound not cheesy or dated. But lyrically, no, not too much. It pretty much stayed the same as far as what I wrote. Maybe a line or two here and there, but overall, I was pretty impressed that it held up as far as the lyrics went.
Hey, so we're gonna take a turn and maybe bring it away from, sort of away from the personal stuff, and give you a break from that. I probably shouldn't have started out with that. Um, so you just froze on my screen. Are you still there?
I'm here.
Oh yeah, there you go. Um, so I'm going to ask you, I call them the official and unofficial build the scene questions.
Sure.
The official one is, who's your Dave Grohl? And by that, I mean, who would you want to go up on stage with and play one of their originals if they pulled you out of the crowd?
Oh wow, wow, that's a great question. I'm a huge fan. Actually, you mentioned Sebastian Bach earlier. I know he's a big fan as well. There's a band called Hanoi Rocks that were probably my favorite band of all time. That Vince Neil of the band Motley Crue killed their drummer Razzle.
Yes.
And that's how a lot of people know who they are, unfortunately. But they're one of my favorites, and any member of that band that still exists, I would love to go up on stage with a guy named Andy McCoy or Michael Monroe. But on a bigger front, I suppose, than that, Keith Richards of the Rolling Stones would be my all-timer, I think, while we still have him on Earth.
I, I saw a meme, or maybe it was a video. It was both. I saw it as video and meme form. It was Keith Richards and I can't remember who the second person
Oh,
was.
Willie Nelson.
But Willie Nelson, yes.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Building the pyramids.
Yeah, that was great.
The guy who made it actually popped up on my timeline on Facebook. And he's like,
Well,
I know you've seen this as a meme, but I made it, and here's the video. I don't know why he was on my timeline. I don't know him.
right. Oh, that's great.
Okay, so the other question, the unofficial question, is, what is the best pizza you've had because you're a musician? So you have to figure out a way to link it to like a gig or a recording session, or
That's a fairly easy one. I did so many gigs this year, well over 100 gigs, and last night was my last gig of the year at probably, geez, I want to say the best pizza place in my particular area here, Northeast PA, called Ravello's. Ravello's Pizza. Usually, like when a president or something's in town, they always go there to eat. So it's definitely a good one. But we're blessed in an area here with a lot of places, so I don't want to offend anybody. But that's definitely a good one, and I played there last night, so it would be wrong of me to say something else.
there used to be a RV dealership in Scranton with the same name as my last name. I know this.
Yes, it
I
still
know
exists,
this because I tried to register that domain and they already had it.
I definitely know what you're talking about, and I do believe it still exists.
Well, I ended up registering .net, and I'm letting it
That
go.
sucks when that happens.
Had it for a while though. But hey, so what has been the hardest part about being a musician?
Oof. I think, well, it's something that I think non-musicians see in us is a lot of things that aren't really true. There's no, it's not nearly as glamorous as anybody expects. It's a lot of work for a little reward. And, it's been that way, since the industry became an industry. But, in the 70s and 80s, at least you had an industry behind you, as much as, record companies and managers might kind of, take from you as much as they could. At least there was some protection there. I mean, it seemed pretty cool where, we got rid of that with the internet, but, ultimately the internet's kind of killing us. You spend all this money recording albums that you're giving away for free. And, then you have Spotify, which is kind of the giant that, if you were the biggest band on earth, you might get like, a very small paycheck. So for us, do it yourself artists, it's brutal. I mean, there's one quarter, or however that is, like performance quarter of the year, where you kind of get your royalties or your musician songwriting dues. And I did. I was able to actually pay a bill one time. I thought, wow, this must be what it was like in the 1980s to get a Ferrari or a new house. Because,
I,
even like, talking to a lot of my friends that are, recording and stuff, you don't make much. I mean, like, man, you have to get so many streams just to get like pennies. It's really hard. So between that and the upcoming devil in our musical lives is AI. AI
yes.
is taking everything away. I'm also a graphic designer, so I'm getting hammered at both ends on that one.
All right, so we're going to pause there. We're going to take our first break, and what I'm going to play on the radio is we're going to play Ghosts, and we're going to follow that with Tornado of Mistakes. And we'll come back and talk a little bit about the music and the album, and we'll foreshadow it, I guess. And
All right.
we'll be right back.
Okay.
Welcome to the Pennsylvania Rock Show. Since 2004, we've been the home of Pennsylvania's unsigned rock. Raw, loud, and unapologetic. From live radio to podcasts and streaming everywhere.
Hey, it's Bill. We're back on episode number 807. You just heard Ghosts and Tornado of Mistakes by Jay Luke, who happens to be my guest tonight. And kind of talked a little bit about Ghosts, but if you wouldn't mind, could you take a moment and tell us a little bit about Tornado of Mistakes?
Yes. Uh, something, that kind of spawned it is like, there's good and bads about being, ultra focused and, I don't know how to say it. Like, sometimes it's like, I want to be the best at this or do really well at this. And you kind of focus so hard at this one thing, whether it be music or art or something like that, that you kind of you have that tornado, or yeah, not tornado, but tunnel vision of missing what's around you. Whether it be your relationship or your family or friends and stuff like that. A lot of people don't know how much goes into, like we were talking about being a musician and stuff like that. I give up so much, and so many. I feel like my family and my relationship suffer quite a bit because, you know, weekends I'm always playing shows. So like anybody who wants to hang out, it's very rare where I get a chance to hang out, or people have to see like an empty seat where I'm supposed to be, and that hurts quite a bit. So I wrote that song in a way to kind of acknowledge that it's a balance. Life is a big balance where it's good to have goals and it's good to be focused, but you also have to remember that there are other people that seem to suffer when you're so vigilant and trying to get to where you got to go. And being ignorant or selfish and arrogant about not realizing that is tough. So sometimes you have to balance it out. There's good and bad in basically everything, but I feel like I've made so many mistakes along my road in music and in life. You kind of look up to the wrong people and you do a lot of things that later in life you say like, geez, what was I doing? Why was I thinking that was a good idea? or so many different things. Like if you're the same person you were, I personally believe if I was the same person I was when I started out, um, there'd be very little growth, so I feel like growing so much. And speaking about, the song, we talked about how things have changed since I wrote that song from a very long time ago. So many other songs that came out around that time that I wrote, I'd be embarrassed to death to write because it's like it's like 4 lifetimes ago in my world, so yeah, some things are hold their how they should be, but a lot of things don't. you know
So both of those tracks are off of upcoming album. I
yep.
think it's titled Afterlife Crisis. Is that correct?
Well, I look like I'm frozen.
On your connection is failing you again.
See, I can't really take. Oh, I look like I'm back.
There you're back.
Okay.
So I believe it's called Afterlife Crisis. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct.
So can you just kind of give us a little bit of, clearly Ghost is from a while ago, and like how many tracks are going to be on it? Like what's give me kind of a history lesson if you don't mind.
Yeah, no problem. I kind of aim for 6 or 7 these days, as I got to be real about a lot of things. Like, I love albums, and growing up there, I've listened to them top to bottom, but the attention span of the average listener these days is kind of embarrassing. So most people just release singles at this point because you give somebody a whole album and like they're distracted by their phone and a million other things, so it's tough to get people's attention. So I'm keeping it to like 6 or 7. I have about I basically have to do one more song to finish the album now, and it'll be the first cover song I ever did. So I'm kind of like looking forward to it. It's a very obscure one, but I'm into it.
Now, are you self-recording or are you doing it in the studio?
There's a studio, it's basically in the same town where I'm from, that I do all my stuff, called JL Studios. And it's funny because it's my initials, but it's actually for a guy named Joe Loftus who does all the recording, and he actually played bass on my stuff. So I'm really grateful for what he does. He really makes things sound really good. So
Um, Now you were talking about the time that music takes away from everyday life, and off the air you were telling me that there's some other projects that you're working in too. Do you want to talk about any of those?
yeah, well, I do have another group called Reach for the Sky that I'm the lead guitar player in, and we are working on, well, basically have our fourth album finished, but that's not out yet. But also a few weeks ago, we've recorded a live album. So, hopefully in 2026, we have 2 new albums, which would be really cool. But as far as collaborations, there's a guy named RG Williamson who has a group called Wrenchwork, who, I just met through, radio stations and stuff that we play on, who asked me to sing on a song called Towers Fall. And we've been on charts all over the place. It's weird, There's this year has been a record year for me. There's been a few number ones and stuff all over the globe with a lot of songs I did, which is crazy cool. And
I
another
remember
act,
I remember seeing Australia in the list while I was reading
yeah,
through.
yeah. We're talking about the good and bad of music, and I guess the good is that, like, you release a song now, and back in the day, you'd probably have to wait quite a while to, get your songs out there. Like, instantly, they're all over the globe. So, and you never know where they're going to pick up. So, seeing a hit number one in Australia is something I could never have ever imagined. But, oh, and also, yeah, I did want to say there's a group called the Fods who had me sing on a track called "A Matter of Time" that also charted. So I'm, very fortunate. It's been a really cool year for that stuff.
Very cool. Um, so on the video, for those of you that are watching the TV version, is his Facebook's facebook.com/jlukemusic. And it's probably the best way to get a hold of him. That's how I got a hold of him. Um,
Yes.
so if you've mentioned collaborating, are you open to more collaboration?
Yeah, I was kind of honored. I usually just do my own thing and, work with the band I play with, and, just through, getting out there and getting on shows and stuff like that. These people asked, yeah, it was kind of weird that they both asked me at the same time, which worked out that I had studio dates where, while I was going to record my own thing, I just like was able to do the vocals for these other collaboration projects. And the people that invited me into this sort of thing were happy with how it came out, and I was happy with it came out. So I'm definitely down with more collaborations. You never know where things end up. So the more you're out there, the better it is, I think.
So we're gonna take our second break, but I have to apologize to the first band I'm gonna play. They are what I call a get out of town band. They are not from the Pittsburgh area or even Pennsylvania for that matter, and I have no idea what their name is. It's all capital letters. It's AITA. AITA. I believe they are a pop punk band. And their song is called No Hard Feelings, except it's KNOW, No Hard Feelings. And then the second track we're going to hear is from a band called 9 Sundays from here in the Pittsburgh area, because they practice at 9 on Sundays. And their song name is Scream. And we'll be right back with the third segment. Hey, it's Bill. We are back on episode 807 of the Pennsylvania Rock Show. We just heard from Eta and their song No Hard Feelings, and also 9 Sundays and their song Scream. With me for the final segment of the show is Jay Luke from the Northeast Pennsylvania area.
Yep.
Do they call it NEPA or NEPA?
I
see it all the time. I have no idea how to pronounce it, though.
Wow, I just hear it as NEPA. I never hear anyone say NEPA or NEPA.
Okay.
That's
NEPA.
funny. Yeah,
We'll do
here
that.
we just call it by the initials. We don't really spell it out. So it's no right or wrong, I suppose.
But I was telling you off the air about the new music news segment on Music from 412. And we're based in the Pittsburgh area, and the first musician I got to record one is from Philly, and you can tell.
Yeah.
But it turned out great. And he was actually on the last episode, the Christmas episode, McMichaels from Corners of Sanctuary.
Oh, yeah. Geez, I think there's a guy who was from that band that was from my area as well. I can't remember his name, though.
Wish I could remember the rest of the band's name. That's terrible.
Yeah.
I usually talk to Mick.
Yeah, they're cool. They have great songs.
Hey, so we're in our last segment, and my timer started and stopped. We'll restart it. So now I'm going to hit you with some of my off-the-wall questions.
Let's do it.
We're going to start with this one. You're leaving a gig, and there's a DeLorean sitting outside with its door in the air and a flux capacitor in the back. Okay. Where are you going in time, and what band are you going on stage with? Because, Marty ended up playing with Chuck Berry's cousin.
Yeah, wow, damn. Okay, so what band? Probably, I mentioned the band Hanoi Rocks. I would probably try to go back to save Razzle from getting killed by Vince Neil. so I would guess that would be 1984 in Los Angeles or Redondo Beach, California, because I believe that they were going to do a show before he got killed. So yeah, and I would love to go on stage with him. That'd be super cool. But yeah, I would stand by that one.
Okay.
Save Razzle.
So Axl kind of keeps coming up. I made my daughter come on. I was listening to Charlie Kendall's Metal Shop earlier tonight, and
right.
they had a live version of Sweet Child of Mine recently,
Mm.
and I love Guns N' Roses, but we were talking earlier about how Sebastian Bach can still sing.
Yeah, I know what you're gonna
That's all
say.
I'm gonna say.
Yeah. What's funny about them is, when they came out, I was just really, really getting into music, and I was very young. Um,
Hold on.
but and the way I spoke about
So
Hanoi Rocks
I
on
need you.
back.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
I need you to start back at the when I was getting into music, their
Yeah.
music. Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, with GNR, when they first came out, I was kind of just really getting into music there. Very serious. As a kid, I was listening to it as if it was keeping me alive, which kind of, in a way, it kind of did. But yeah, when that album, Appetite for Destruction, came out, it was just incredible, and they will always be, very important to me. And I did actually get to open up for Duff McKagan in 2008, and oh my God, what a great, great time that was. So, but going back to the group Hanoi Rocks, Axl Rose, who kind of was kind of a jerk in a lot of ways for a lot of different reasons. He had a quote
It's
saying that
well
if it
documented.
right, he said if it were not for Hanoi Rocks, there'd be no Guns N' Roses. So that's where I went into my whole obsession. I'm like, oh, I gotta find out who these guys are. But yes, you are correct. Certain people need to hang it up at certain points, and a lot of people don't know when that time is, which is very
Yeah.
bizarre to me.
The band sounds great. He
Yeah,
just he can't hit it anymore.
yeah,
And I really like I don't I'm not saying it like, oh, he's terrible, because the legacy that he has left is amazing.
sure,
But
sure. Well,
it,
yeah, that's a weird
and
thing.
he sounded pretty good at the final Ozzy show, but
Yeah, yeah.
what I heard there wasn't.
No, yeah, I know. I mean, like, what's so strange for even for me as a musician, like, when you're having a bad night or a bad, performance, and like, if they keep happening, don't you realize like, man, maybe something's wrong. Maybe I should kind of like not be tarnishing what, I left behind. But so many of these singers, especially from that time period, they were doing like death-defying vocal things that I don't think they expected to have to do it 30 years down the road or something. But no, now it's like kind of embarrassing.
Well, and the other thing is, at this point in their careers, the fans are coming for the nostalgia, and you
Right.
know, and I say that knowing that I've been to a whole bunch of Kiss concerts.
Yeah, that's another one. I know.
Yeah. Although I
Huge
will
fan.
say Paul's voice held up fairly
A lot
well.
longer. Yeah,
Yeah. And
yeah.
Gene, I think Gene still sounds the same.
He does. He probably
Uh,
sounds, the most accurate, I think, of the
Yeah.
bunch.
But okay, next question.
Yes.
What is a non-standard venue that you would like to play at? By
Non.
standard, I mean you can play anywhere.
Ooh, um. Well, it don't really exist anymore, and I missed my chance. But I would have loved to have played at
Well,
CBGB's.
you still have a DeLorean.
Yes, yes, CBGB's in New York. That's a big one. Or the Whiskey in Los Angeles. I actually still have it. There's a very real chance if I could, afford things, I could probably get over there to do that one. So hopefully someday that one does come true. But I would
Uh,
say, either East or West Coast, it would be the Whiskey or CBGB's from old time New York.
There's a band from this area called Sour Mash. They're You look
Yeah, I've
like
heard
you've
of it.
heard of them. I saw you
I
light
think
up.
I have. Yeah.
Yeah. Kind of a biker southern rock kind of band. Their
Hmm.
lead singer lives about 2 miles from me.
Okay.
Um, and they just played the Whiskey maybe 2 months ago.
Yeah, yeah. Well, the reason I say that is like it's not quite as exclusive to play as it used to be, I guess. Because I saw there was some like advertisements like if you want to play there. I'm thinking like, wow, is that how easy it is now? You used to have to like fist fight to just even get your name in the list, and now it's like they're actually asking for people to play. So Everybody's on hard times
Well,
apparently.
the bands that made it iconic, we were just discussing some of their issues.
Yeah, right. You're correct.
Um, okay, so if you could sit down to dinner with four people, and again, you still have a DeLorean, um, one of them has to be a musician. That's the only caveat. Who would you want to hang out with for the evening, and why would you pick each of them?
All right, let's go here. Number one, uh, Vincent Price, the horror movie actor. I would love to just, you know, pick his brain for a little bit. Number two, musician-wise, Blackie Lawless of the band Wasp. Reason I say that is the reason I got into writing music was from an album that Wasp put out called "The Crimson Idol," and I owe so much to myself as a musician just from that album, and I sort of have a turbulent history with him, which I would like to get up front to. We were supposed to play a show that he canceled, and we ended up headlining at a Wasp show, which kind of broke my heart at the same time as being cool. So let's see, two other people. Groucho Marx, just because I think he's pretty cool. I'm really into old movies and old stuff like that, so he's very quick-witted.
My my daughter just got a clip-on mustache for her sax that looks like Groucho's
That's right.
mustache.
Yeah. So that would leave me with one person, and I would throw in another musician named Ozzy Osbourne. Because why the hell
That's
not? Why would you not want to hang out with Ozzy?
I could think of a lot of things that I wouldn't mind filming, but not partaking in.
Right. Yeah, I'm sure. And just thinking of that group of people, that would be pretty hilarious to see them all together.
So how can the listeners and viewers, number one, where can they see you live, and how can they get a hold of your music down the road?
Well, as much as it's a necessary evil, I guess Spotify is usually the easiest route people find me. People also use Apple Music, YouTube. If you're overseas, what's the big one over there? Deezer, Tidal, pretty much any streaming service you can find me on. And as far as seeing me perform, mainly in Pennsylvania right at the moment, because I can't, I don't have the luxury of certain travel things, so I'm basically driving all over the place. I played a bunch in New York this year, which was cool, but it sucks, being away from home so much and just constantly driving just gives you too much time to think sometimes. So yeah, PA is a hot spot for me. Northeast PA, obviously, you see me around here quite a bit.
Very cool. So, Jay, I want to thank you for hanging out with me tonight.
Yeah, thank you very much for having me.
And again, it's facebook.com/jlukemusic. And as I mentioned earlier, we're going to come full circle. We're going to hear another Thoriaka song. This is they, as we were talking, you were talking earlier, they are releasing singles and then building an album from there. This is not the newest single, but the one before it. It's called "Dig Your Own Grave," and
Good title.
yeah, they're kind of hard rock, borderline metal, not quite there. That where like kind of in a gray area, melodic at times. I love them.
That's a good spot to be in. I like that spot.
So once again, make sure you head to J. Luke Music. Make sure you come and check out Pennsylvania Rock Show every Monday night at 7 p.m. for the interview, but the radio show is at 10 p.m. You can find that on musicfromthe412.com, buildascene.com, xrpradio.co.uk, kdubradio.com, megarockradio.net. Times and stations vary, but all over the world. And with that said, we are going to head off into the evening and check out that Dig Your Own Grave track by Thoriaka.
Great. Well, you guys have a happy new year. Thank you very much.
It's that time of the show where I am going to spin a wheel, and Dressy Entertainment is going to give 2 tickets to an upcoming show to the name it lands on. The show happens to be Molly Hatchet, February 5th. It's a Thursday, February 5th. Early entry is 5 p.m. Doors are 6 p.m. Showtime is 8 p.m. at Jurgles in Warrendale. It is a 21 and over show. And I had 2 people sign up. They were Keith Ladig and Lily Six. You'll notice that I put their names on the wheel above me a lot of times. I'm going to go ahead and hit shuffle twice and spin to find out who is going to be our winner of those 2 tickets to see Molly Hatchet on February 5th. And our winner is Lily Six. Lily, keep an eye on your email. You will be getting an email from me telling you some information, and then you'll get a follow-up email from Dressy Entertainment where they tell you how to get a hold of those tickets. If you're not sure how these contests work, head to musicfrom412.com/contest, and you can also see what other tickets are available for the wheel of names above my head. With that said, we are going to ride off into the evening. Enjoy the rest of your night.